Yo, what's going on, man? Today is November the 4th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. we got a humongous slate for today. So many games on in the NBA. Every single team, as I mentioned on yesterday's show, does play today because election day is tomorrow, and NBA wants to promote everybody getting out and voting. So they schedule all the games today and no games tomorrow, which makes it terrible for somebody like myself to handicap all of them. But it's all good, man. Hit the like button for me as you join. We're going to jump right into it. No recap because there's no official plays that I gave out yesterday. The Brooklyn Nets did get the Detroit Pistons did get the job done. Atlanta won as well. So two dogs win outright. And the Dallas Mavericks absolutely abolished the Paulo Ventura-less Orlando Magic yesterday. So I'll go through a couple of the comments real quick, and then we're going to jump right into it. I got about 6 games that I'm going to talk with you guys about. What's up, Mark? He says, new week, new energy. Good morning to my guy, Kenneth. Prolific says, good morning, Chris. Please hit the like, subscribe. You know the rest. Shout out to Prolific. What up, LJ? He says, let's wake up and get some money. He likes the Timberwolves early, the Warriors early, the Boston-Atlanta game to go over. We're going to talk about all 3 of those, LJ. What's up, Jobbing Dimes? He says he likes the Mavs first half minus the 3.5 Magic team total for the first half under 55 were good to me yesterday. Regret not playing the Pistons money line. It was all good. What up, Ring? 5-star in here as well. Prestigious Prodigy, Mitchell. Everybody, let's get paid. Everybody in here this morning. Good morning, Kristen. Jalen says good morning. Hit the like button, y'all. Young Man Travel in here. GLB Betts, Marquise, AB, Dano. Excuse me. Tyler says the loaded slate. What up, Peasy? Brian says good morning, Chris, and good work yesterday. I took the Nets first half. Cash just to go and give it back with the Colts. Flacco looked old last night. Yeah. Flacco, I mean, they were doing okay at halftime, 7-0. But yeah, he did end up regressing, throwing a couple picks and stuff. Frankie reminding everybody hit the like button. What up, Jose? Let's jump into the games for today, man. We got the early games are the ones I want to talk about just because those were the ones I kind of went through last night. I made 5 bets already today. I got like 3 on the short list, and it's still a couple games that I haven't really fully dove all the way into yet. Some of the later games for today, but yeah, we're gonna. If you guys like the looks, tail them. 5 bets that I sent out to the members last night. Well, early this morning, about 3:45. Before we do though, jaXon, the newest sponsor of the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. I've been talking about jaXon for about a week now. It's definitely helped me kind of cut down on my process, along with the other tools that I use as well. Just kind of helped me cut down on my process. jaXon is the first of its kind AI large language optimized for sports and sports betting. So unlike typical chatbots, jaXon is specifically engineered using Pawn Sports tools to deliver insight that go beyond the common public opinion. It can create charts. It can give you in-depth analysis. It can tell you who's on the injury report. It can give you game predictions, player prop predictions, betting lines. There's so many different things that you guys can utilize jaXon for. It comes in a bunch of different languages, and I recommend trying it out if you have not. The link, they are offering a free trial right now. So on top of getting jaXon, you also, on top of using the promo code that's in the video, you also get a free trial. So check it out. The link for jaXon is in the description of the video. Couple different things I use jaXon for that we'll talk about within the show today. Let's jump into it for today. First game we got up is the Orlando and Dallas. Not Orlando, Dallas. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this line opened about 6.5, 7, and that's where it's sitting at right now. I do see a 7.5. Total is creeping up. This is at 228.5 last night. When I first started looking at it, it's up to 230, which to me just tells me that that Giannis Antetokounmpo probably is going to play. So injury report, Giannis is listed as questionable. He's dealing with a abductor injury. And then I think Beauchamp, excuse me, he's already been ruled out with an illness, a non-COVID related illness. Pat Connaughton also on the injury report. He's listed as probable though. Looks like he's going to give it a go with a left abductor injury as well. On the opposite side, you got Karis LeVert, game time decision for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's truly listed as questionable with a knee injury. Imani Bates, Max Strus continue to be out for Cleveland. So looking at this game, first thing that kind of stood out to me, and the unders have not been good to me, but the first thing that stood out to me was why not play under? We just saw a game. These two teams, of course, just played on Saturday in Cleveland, in Milwaukee. And Milwaukee looked good in that game. Offensively, they look good. They specifically Dame, he had 4 points, I think it was, against the Memphis Grizzlies. He came back in that game, hit 10 threes, tied the franchise record, the Dame. And they still lost the game because they just don't play a lot of defense. Right now, this Milwaukee team is 28th defensive efficiency, allowing about 119 points per game. But when you get these games, for people who've been around for a while, you know the query, you know the trend. If you know. Shout out to Ski Profit. This is one of those ones that align. I think Milwaukee struggles to score here. Cleveland has been one of the better defensive teams, and if Giannis doesn't play, I think we see this total drastically start to drop. But this was one last night where I kind of looked at Milwaukee team total under. Did not play it, but it is on the short list for today. Couple different things. So if you look at teams who are playing the same team that they just played within a 3-day span, that game went under and the total is lower. And it's the divisional game. Since the 2020 season, 30-19 to the under, 61.2%. Same thing. If you look at that, same trend, the game went under. And it's within the first 10 games of the season, it's 22-9 to the under. That's 71%. So two pretty strong trends towards the under in this game. I also looked at teams that hit 17 threes facing the same opponent within a 3-day time span where the first game went under. That's also a strong under trend, 60%, 36, 26, and 1 to the under. The Cavs are allowing 108 points, and the Bucks team total last night was at 110.5. It may have actually gone up a little bit. Yeah, 111.5 is the number right now. They've only scored 112 points or more on the road one time this season. That was against the 76ers in the first game. Since then, they've actually gone under that total in 3 straight games. Like I said, Dame hit 10 threes, and they still only managed to get 113 points. This lineup looks really, really slow. Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis look like a shell of themselves. Bobby Portis also got a lot of stuff going on with the home invasion that happened for people who don't know during the game on Saturday. His head might not completely be in this game. So yeah, maybe some unders for those guys as well. Brook Lopez, he's been terrible. I was trying to find his numbers. I couldn't quite locate any of them. But Brook Lopez was somebody that I wanted to target in this game too, if his lines do become available. Averaging 10.5 points per game on 37% shooting and just 29% from the 3-point line so far this season. Only 5 rebounds only 5 rebounds in his first 6 games, playing 31 minutes per game. We know that Cleveland is a pretty good rebounding team, and I think their 3-point defense plays a lot better in this one. I don't think that the Milwaukee Bucks replicate hitting 17 threes again. If anything, they should play a little bit more defense. So I like the under, specifically Milwaukee team total under 111.5, and it's the one that I'm looking for, the one that I'm liking a little bit more in this game than anything else. Did not touch any of the player props, and I think if you want the Bucks, you probably do want to wait to see what happens with Dave, what happens with Giannis. But Cleveland probably they could smoke this team again. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat about this one before we move on. Glow says, I'm on a huge losing streak. NBA is unpredictable. NFL messed up too. Yeah, it's been challenging, Glow. Same here, man. I mean, I wouldn't say huge because I've been kind of picking and choosing my spots, but it's not been a profitable start to the season. Don't shy away from it. Just own it. Keep it moving. JS Brown says, good morning, Chris. Huge slate tonight. We should be able to find some good spots. Tyler says Bucks revenge spot. The spot says Bucks, but it's hard to get to the window. I'm not taking the Bucks. I'm not taking the Bucks in this spot. I think it was something that said that to take the Bucks, but no way I'm putting my hard-earned money on the Bucks right now. Defensively, they just look like a shell of themselves, like I said. Brian says Milwaukee on the do not play list. on the do not play, 7 points seems a bit high. Might just take the first half in the under. So last game, the Bucks were 2-point favorites. This line did shift 9 points from home to road, and the Milwaukee Bucks only lost that game by 1 point. But Cavs are a lot better at home. It is a pretty terrible travel spot for both teams. I think more so for the Cavs. More so for the Cavs. The Cavs were playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, so I know this is the third game in 4 nights for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's see. All right. Donna says, are the Bucks really this bad? I want to take them, but they're not a good unit right now. That makes it scary. I ain't gonna lie. Says college basketball is back. Monday Night Football as well. GLB says gotta head out for a work meeting. He's like Chiefs Thunder today. The Predators money line, the Devils money line, and hockey. Okay. Dropping down says Bucks are a train wreck. I agree with that. Ron says, did you take Orlando team total under already? Oklahoma City killing on defense. We're gonna get to that game in a second, Brian. I actually played. I didn't play the team total under, but I got a bet in that game too. 5-star says, Chris, where do I see the plays that you sent out? So what you probably did, 5-star, is you signed up as a ChrisBeCappinn community member and not the ChrisBeCappinn. Well, you probably signed up as a supporter under the supporter tier. You got to sign up under the ChrisBeCappinn community tier, and all my plays will be sent directly to your email when I send them out. AB, I do not do college basketball. There's some people in the chat in the Discord that does college basketball. They already talking about it early this morning. I don't cap college basketball. There's way too much going on for me. I did create a specific server channel in the Discord for college basketball. Mark says he likes Cavs first half, but also Milwaukee team total under. Okay. What up, Midnight Hour picks? Whip says looking at the possible Donovan Mitchell props here, but the Bucks just keep giving it up. They really can't get a stop. That's a fact. Brian says the Cavs are balling right now, and cash cows. No reason to jump off, and I'm in agreement with that as well. Last 5 matchups with the Cavs and the Bucks, 4 of the 5 have went under the line. I like it a lot. I like it, Mitchell. Like I said, the Milwaukee Bucks team total under 111.5 is my favorite play in the game. It's on my short list. I have not bet it yet. Good morning, Aaron. Walter says last year Cleveland won games in bunches. Bucks are in a bad spot. And I think I would agree with that. AB, if you need the Discord link, just DM me on Twitter at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's or email me at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's at Gmail. What's up, Charles? Appreciate you as well. CG3 says he thinks that over happens. I do not. All right, let's go on to the next one. Golden State will be up the street from me in DC today, taking on the Washington Wizards. This line I think was at 9.5, 10. Still at 10 right now. And the total in this one, last night I wrote Golden State minus 9.5 and total at 231.5, which it looks like that is still the consensus. There are some 10s for the Golden State Warriors. And this was a game that I did play. I actually made 2 plays in this game. Let me just see. I want to see what I sent out at. Yeah, I sent out Golden State last night, minus the 9.5. I was looking for a first half number, but it wasn't quite available on too many books. And I just kind of wanted to see where the market goes as well. I like Golden State early too. I think this is a smash spot for the Warriors. I know that the Warriors are coming off the second leg of a back. Well, not a second leg of a back, but they're coming off the overtime game, but that actually makes it a little bit stronger, in my opinion. Right now, Golden State first half is minus 5.5 on BetMGM. I'm probably going to end up adding that as well. I'm shooting today. I'm letting my shot go today. No pump faking for me today. All right, so let's jump into it. For the Golden State Warriors, you got Steph Curry listed as questionable. He is a game-time decision right now. The Golden State Warriors do have a big game coming up against the Boston Celtics in Boston on Wednesday. So something to take into consideration. Steph has missed, the last 3 games? think he missed both games against the Pelicans. He missed the game against Houston as well. On the Washington side, they got still dealing with Kuzma, who will continue to be out. You got Marvin Bagley Jr., Marvin Bagley III, listed as questionable. No Sadiq Bey and no Malcolm Brogdon. So you got the Warriors coming off an overtime game in Houston. You do have 1 day's rest to travel from Houston to DC. And like I said, they got Boston, so potential look ahead spot. They're also 5-1 against the spread so far this season. You got a Washington Wizards team, on the other hand, is coming off a game in New Mexico where they got smoked by the Miami Heat, which kind of as like projected. I expected them to get smoked in that game. I talked about liking them first half on the show on Saturday. I know a lot of people probably put some money on that, and this Wizards team sucks in my opinion. I'm just being honest. The 2 wins that they do have came against the Atlanta Hawks, who just honestly just don't play a lot of defense. They caught Atlanta slipping on the first leg of a back-to-back. It was the 3rd game in 4 nights for Atlanta as well. Then Atlanta goes to Washington, also still just can't generate a lot of points either. So we'll go player prop. I'm already talking about the side. So Golden State, one of the things that was promised to me, I looked at Golden State last season. I think they're a lot better this season than they were last season. Last season, they finished 8-0 straight up and against the spread as a road favorite in non-conference games. And they were 7-1 to the under in those games. They stayed under by an average of 11 points. What that tells me that the Warriors take these non-conference games serious, and the Warriors also, which is weird to me, but the trend is the trend, and they also play really good defense. This season, they're number 2 in defensive rating, number 2 in opponent offensive effective field goal percentage, and number 3 in forcing turnovers. Washington is a team that shoots the 4th most threes from the above the break 3, kind of like the Golden State Warriors. And the Golden State Warriors are number 2 at limiting above the break 3 threes, and the number 1 in opponent above the break 3 accuracy and overall accuracy. This is a team that really limits teams. They run you off the 3-point line. If you've been watching Pods play defense, even Buddy Hield play defense, like they're getting teams off the 3-point line. Go back and check out Fred VanVleet box score from the last game. Go back and check CJ McCollum box score from a couple games ago. Like this Warriors defense is not playing around. Washington is number 3 in points scored per possession in transition. So the Wizards are trying to get out and run. The problem with that is Golden State's number 1 in transition defense. They're not giving up a lot of points in transition at all. Offensively, Golden State should be able to get whatever it is that they want. Washington is the worst defense overall, and they're the 3rd worst at guarding the 3-point line, and the 2nd worst at guarding the rim as well. So however Golden State want to score, I think that they will. I think 9.5 is a few too many points. Is not enough points. So I did lay the -9.5 with the Golden State Warriors here. The other play, because I know a lot of people probably want to talk about Jordan Poole, I took Jordan Poole under on his points plus assists as well. Golden State's been locking up point guards. I kind of talked about some of them. I'm not going to go through every single box score, but they've been really locking up point guards. Poole, you look at Poole, he's under in 3 of his 5 games so far this season. The only overs actually came against Atlanta on defense. They stink. Last year, Poole played Washington twice. He went under in both games, and there's potential for a blowout. When I was going through this last night and I was kind of filtering Jordan Poole numbers based on the quarter and based on the half, he does nothing in the second half. And a big part of that is because they've been getting blown out in the second half. He's kind of sitting on the bench. I think he's like 4th or 5th on the team in minutes played per second half, just because, like I said, it's typically a blowout. The big games he had in the second half did come against Atlanta. Atlanta's bottom 5 defensively. So I did play Jordan Poole under on his points plus assists. I know a lot of people probably want to take him. It looks, real cute to take Jordan Poole against his old team, but I think Jordan Poole gets locked up today. And I don't care if Steph plays or not. Like the Warriors have proved it to me that they don't need Steph in order to be effective on the offensive end. I'll take Jordan Poole under 13.5 points plus assists. Probably gonna add the Golden State Warriors minus 5.5 in the first half, and I already sent out the numbers Golden State minus the 9.5 last night. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one, and then we'll keep it moving. Ski says I'm actually awake for the show. Hey Ski, you should have DM'd me, bro. You could have been on the show. We could have talked about them. We could have talked about it together. But I stayed up late. I pulled the ski last night. Let's just say that I was up late last night capping these games. I got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, which is something I typically don't do. I'm typically 8 hours. I need 7.5. But yeah, I wanted to get ahead of these lines. So some CLV. We'll see how it goes. Kenneth joined as a member again. Appreciate you. Let's see. Jordan Poole is more settled in this season. It looks like shooting is a better percentage this season. Not with him tonight, Marquise. I don't think the Warriors have given up 30 and 31 points plus assists at all this season. I'm interested to see where this number went, though. I gave it out last night. When I took Jordan Poole points plus assists, it was at 30.5. I only got 8 cents of juice on it. It was on FanDuel. Let's see where it is right now. It's 30.5, but the juice it's actually dropped on FanDuel to 29.5. So a lot of people betting with me, I guess, or thinking what I'm thinking. But you still can get 30.5 minus 115 though on Bet365. And I love Jordan Poole under today. It's actually one of my favorite players. I love all my player props, honestly, but I like this one a lot. So Golden State for me, minus the 10, probably add the first half. The Wizards are, when I was looking at it last night, I think the Wizards are, real quick, shout out to moneyballer.com. The Wizards are, I thought I had wrote it down. Maybe I did not. Wizards getting smoked in the first half too. That's all I was gonna say. I think outside of those Atlanta games, like they've been getting smoked. The Warriors are one of the better first half teams so far this season. So that kind of caught my eye as well. I do like the Wizards early. I do like the Warriors early as well in DC. All right, that'll be it for this game. I'm taking too long on one game. Let's go on to the next one. I did want to pull the numbers up for you guys though real quick. Let me just see if I can grab them real quick. The Warriors in the first half. It was something that stood out to me. Oh, the other thing I wanted to share, just real quick. I think I'm kind of rambling now, but I wanted to share this because I typically don't play teams coming off an overtime game, but I looked at it last night. So, road favorites laying 9 or more coming off an overtime game since the start of the 2020 season says that they're double-digit favorites for a reason, or 9-point favorites for a reason. They're 8-0 straight up, 7-0-1 against the spread. Winning by average of 19.8 points per game. So, yeah, I mean, this is like top of the top versus bottom of the bottom. This happened a couple times last season. But yeah, these favorites of 9 points coming off an overtime game, 7-0-1 against the spread. Pretty sure it's a profitable trend in the first half too. First half numbers real quick before we move on. The Warriors are 5-1. No. The Wizards are 0-5 against the spread in the first half. The Warriors are 5-1 against the spread in the first half. The Wizards have stayed under their team total in the first half in all 5 games. And the Warriors opponents are 2-3 to the under, 3-2 to the under on their team total. And I'm sorry, the Warriors are opponents are 1-5 to the over on their team total. So the Warriors are playing really good defense early in games. I'm adding Warriors minus 5.5, minus 105 on BetMGM. I just haven't played it yet. Ian says Poole has his game circle. I could care less. LJ says Warriors are 13-0 since February the 24th regular season. Last year 10 points or less as road favorite. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Whip says he likes Jordan Poole under as well. Warriors have been really playing well. And Poole hit the under in both games against the Warriors last season. That's what I said. Warriors have a crazy rotation. Yeah, with or without Steph. I like it a lot. What's up, Tariq? Dante says he likes Jordan Poole to go over 1.5 steals plus blocks. We'll see how that goes. EJ says Golden State gave a big lead last time. I don't think it'll happen again. That was against a good team. He has been hooping. Bilal Kuwala, he's one of the bright spots for this team. So I couldn't talk you off of playing his points, rebounds, and assists over. I'm not sure how. I think you do have to do it from a PC, dropping dimes. Yeah, I think you do gotta do it from a PC. Yeah, and I really could care less about him having this game circle. Like, that is nothing for me, bro. Like, I don't know if you can watch it go to State defensively. They probably got the game circled as well. Oh, and I did have it in my notes. I just missed it. Yeah, Golden State 4-2 ATS in the first half, but more importantly, Washington 0-5 in the first half so far this season against the spread. 0-4 against the spread as a home dog in the first half. I also had not to like go like trifecta, but I had Golden State team total over 120.5 written in my notes as well. The Wizards have given up this number 3 of the 5 games so far, with the other 2 teams staying under by just 1 basket. So the Warriors defense, like I said, is really, really bad. The Wizards defense is really, really bad. Washington is playing at the second fastest pace. Golden State is playing at a pace that also ranks in the top half of the league. So yeah, I like everything Warriors in this spot except Jordan Poole to go under. Let's go over to the next one. We got my LA Lakers. They will be in Detroit, not getting anything. Laying 6.5, 7, I think. Let me just double check. See, 7.5. Total in this one is creeping up. It was at 226.5 last night. It's actually coming up to 228, it looks like now. So some money coming in on the over. Injury report for the Lakers. You got D'Angelo Russell listed as questionable with a foot injury. You got Austin Reeves listed as probable. Anthony Davis day-to-day. I think he's going to play in this game as well. And that's it for the Lakers. Detroit's same injury report that they have had. For the Lakers, this is the 4th straight road game with one more in Memphis on Wednesday to finish off the road trip. For Detroit, second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th nights, and they've traveled all 7 games that they've played so far this season. That tells me that this is a little bit of a letdown spot for Detroit here. Like, if you go through and look at their game logs, they have not played in back-to-back gyms in the same arena back-to-back. Situationally, the Lakers have won 8 of the last 10 head-to-head matchups against Detroit. They beat Detroit 7 straight times. They've covered the last 3 as well. I remember being on the Lakers last year when they went to Detroit because they were coming off like a really big loss, and I was like, this is the perfect bounce back spot. So this one, like from a situational spot, it does tell me that the Lakers should win. I lean Lakers, but didn't quite get there. One thing I looked at when I was on Moneyballer last night was I just kind of created the trends that were there. So road favorites with 2 days rest, facing an unrested opponent who's also coming off a win as a dog. The dog typically gets smacked in this spot. 40-23 against the number. That's 66.7% says that the Lakers win. They're winning by an average of 9 points. You see the spread at about 7 right now. So that says Lakers. I looked at road favorites with two days or more rest, facing an unrested opponent who's also coming off a win as a dog in a non-conference game. Says that Detroit doesn't care as much about this one. Those teams are 3-10-1 against the number. So that's about a 70% trend says that the Lakers win this game and cover the spread. I do lean Lakers. I do lean over. The market agrees with the over. I didn't play either, though. The other thing that was interesting to me, and if I'm looking at a player prop in this one, is Cade Cunningham. Cade points and assists listed at 31.5. He's actually only gone over on his points and assists in 2 of the 7 games that he's played so far this season. But when I was doing my due diligence last night, I went back and looked at the box scores and the teams that he was playing against. And Detroit has played against some really slow-paced teams recently, which is one of the reasons why I kind of like the over in this spot as well. Cade started the season off against the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 of the faster-paced teams that we're seeing right now. He went over in both of those games on his points plus assists at 31.5. Since then, Cade has played against the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat, the Philadelphia 76ers, the New York Knicks, and then last night against the Brooklyn Nets, all slow-paced teams. You look at this Lakers team, they're allowing the 3rd most assists right now, and they're struggling against guards. So this is a number that Cade hit 4 of his last – he had 4 in his 4 of his 8 games last season where he was playing on back-to-backs, something I wanted to check as well. I think if Detroit's going to have a big game, it is going to be because of Cade and the Lakers, they can still struggle, and it's a pace up spot for Cade. He's probably gonna cook D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves, whichever one of those guys are guarding him. So I do like Cade over his points plus assists. On my short list, you bet it, lean Lakers and lean over didn't play either. Let's see what y'all saying about this one. Yeah, I think the Rockets are a good team. They just struggling to guard, right? Not struggling to guard. They're struggling to score right now, DJ. But I don't know if I got to that game. I don't know if I made a slide for that game or not. Not sure if I made graphics for that game. The line is coming down. They're plus 2.5 against the New York Knicks. Total going up, which is kind of like the over in that game too. But we might talk about it. CG3 says 25 points for D'Lo, 6 assists for Rui. SK says Beasley has this game circled. Nah, he been playing well off the bench. Malik Beasley, he could light the Lakers up though. Lakers 3-point defense has not been bad, not been good against teams that can actually shoot the 3-point ball. Mark says Lakers team total over 116.5. 7 makes me uncomfortable. I kind of agree with that, Mark. I think the Lakers should be able to score. It's all going to be determined about who the pace favors in this game. Lakers have been playing super fast. The Pistons have been playing super slow. Like I'm talking about like complete opposite. And it wouldn't surprise me if they ran out of gas, being that it's the second leg of a back-to-back, 3rd and 4th and 4th and 6th. If you look at the pace numbers, the Lakers are 9th in pace. The Detroit Pistons are 29th in pace. So that scares me just a tad bit. Brian says Bronny has this game circled. Oh man, that's funny. Lakers money line for me and Bron over 1.5 threes. LJ says Anthony Davis, points plus blocks. He averages the most versus Detroit in his career. Okay, shout out to LJ for pointing that out. TC Best says I'm gonna take the Lakers -7 and probably gonna head to the game tonight. Watch it cash live. Detroit guy, okay. Tariq says he got on pool under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists on FanDuel. He says he's taking the Lakers tonight too. A lot of Laker love in here. OJ says Isaiah Stewart over a half a hard foul on LeBron at plus 450. If you remember what happened with the two, I don't think that was last season. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah, maybe we see some dust up there. I think the Lakers are able to score though. I think it's a letdown spot for Detroit tonight. Like I said, that strong trend that stood out to me was road favorites with 2 days rest. Facing an unrested opponent that's coming off a win as a dog. The favorites do well in that spot, 40, 20, and 3 against the number, covering about 66% of the time with an average margin of victory about 9 points per game. So those are my thoughts on this one. Like I said, lean over, lean Lakers, lean Cade over his points and assists, not play anything. Next one, do got to play in this one. Celtics and the Hawks. This line, I think about 10.5. It's kind of straddling around the same place. Total 234, still kind of where it was when I was handicapping this earlier this morning. So for injury report on the Boston side, Jaylen Brown missed a second straight game. Sam Hauser's game time decision, and of course, no Porzingis. On the Atlanta side, Atlanta got a funky injury report. So they have DeAndre Hunter, who I'm thinking isn't going to play, but I'm not quite sure yet. He was ruled out of that game yesterday with a knee injury against the Pelicans. Bogdanovich continues to remain out. Bufkin continues to remain out. Onyeka Okongwu, I think, does play today. He was ruled out last night, but I think it was because they play Boston today. And I'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. So on the Boston side, this is the last game of a 4-game road trip before they go back home on Wednesday and host the Golden State Warriors. For Atlanta, second leg of a back-to-back. They host the Knicks on Wednesday. This is a Hawks team that, in my opinion, one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. Defense is always going to look a little bit better when you're playing against the Pelicans and they are without Zion Williamson, and they're without, CJ McCollum, and they're without Trey Murphy. And also, they just desperately needed a win in that spot. When I looked at the Hawks last season, they were 10-6 to the over, and they were playing on the second leg of back-to-back. And Boston is going to, be in this spot where they're laying double digits or close to it every single game. This was the same number that they were laying last game against the Charlotte Hornets, 10.5. They ended up not covering by a hook They won that game 113-103. And I know Atlanta's not great, but I think Atlanta does a really good job of matching up with Boston. Like, I like Jalen Johnson. They don't do a good job of defending the three-point line, but without Jaylen Brown, who is from Atlanta, man, it's tough because I kind of feel like if DeAndre Hunter is in or Onyeka Okongwu is in, Atlanta does a really good job. Atlanta was in this spot last year against Boston, playing on the second leg of a back-to-back against the Boston Celtics, getting about the same number, and they actually won that game outright last season. So I stayed away from the spread in this one. I stayed away from the total. We know Boston's defense can be really, really good. There are two plays that I did play in the game, though, and they're player props. The first one I jumped on was Clint Capella. I played his under 8.5 rebounds. This line was a little bit juiced at -133 last night on Caesars. I think it's even more juiced now. I see it came down to 7.5 on a couple books, but I was just kind of going through the box scores. Capella minutes have been janky to start the season. He's only grabbed 9 rebounds, which is what the line was at last night in 2 of his 7 games so far. And the reason why I noticed was because I thought I was looking at playing this over yesterday against the Pelicans. He had 4 rebounds, and I was like, golly. He was at 9.5 yesterday, and we know that the New Orleans Pelicans don't have a true big man right now. They got Daniel Tice. So he only played 21 minutes last night. Maybe, they were trying to save his minutes for the night. But Onyeka Okongwu also, like I said, he'll probably be back in the game tonight after missing a last night game. He was listed with a left big toe injury management designation. But I think he returns because his injury management. I think he does play in this game. I think that'll cut into Capella minutes. When I look at Capella on the season, he's averaging just 23 minutes, 6.7 rebounds this season. Jalen Johnson has actually been their best rebounder. He's averaging 9.9 rebounds so far this season in 37 minutes. So Clint Capella is just not Clint Capella that we used to know, in my opinion. Last season, when Clint Capella played less than 25, when he played 25 minutes or less in a game with Jalen Johnson, because Jalen Johnson did miss a lot of time last season, but when they were both on the floor, Clint Capella played less than 25 minutes. Capella finished with 9 rebounds or more in just 9 of the 25 games. He was cashing his number of 64% last season to the under. Celtics also ranked 8th in rebounding this season. So I did play Clint Capella under his 8.5 rebounds. I also played Derek White. I was leaning Derek White. I played Derek White up and over his 3-point makes this game. The number's 3.5. It was -115 last night. I think it is still -115 when I was looking this morning. This is simply based on Jaylen Brown not being there. We played Derek White over his points against Charlotte in game 2 on Saturday. That was a winner. He went up on over 17.5. The books have adjusted the line to 20.5 without Jaylen Brown being there. He didn't even shoot the ball well in that game. He shot the ball actually really, really poor against a Charlotte team that's not great defensively. So I do think we see major usage in this game from Derek White. When I go back and look at that game, it's just a lot of value there, in my opinion, for Derek White. He only scored 18 points and barely cleared the number, but he shot the ball 17 times. He shot 5 for 17 from the field, 4 for 13 from the 3-point line. So I think he can hit 4 threes. I think he's over in 6 of the 8 games played without Jaylen Brown, dating back to last season. Cashed against Charlotte on Saturday. Atlanta, like I said, bottom 3 and defending above the break 3. So I did play Derek White up and over his 3.5 3-point makes, hoping that, and projecting that he, shoots another 13, 14 threes again tonight against an Atlanta team on the second leg of the back-to-back. So my 2 favorite player props in this game are right there. Clint Capella under on his rebounds and Derek White over on his threes. I played them separate. I didn't parlay anything. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Let's see. Young Man Travel says Atlanta are 12-0 to the over last 12 games and 0-8 against the spread at home. Usually don't parlay, but I love the trend. Give me Boston laying the points in the over parlay. Brian says Celtics first quarters team total over. First half Celtics first half. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna talk you guys off. Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense here. What's up, Can't Stop? SK says, Chris, You know why Bet365 has lines for November 13th already available? Been there for a while now. It's more than that. I think it's the 12th. They've been there for a long time because when I've been looking at the Odds Jam screen, those are the games that always pop up, even when when the lines aren't out for the next day. So I'm not sure why. What's the significance of the 12th? What is the 12th? It's next next Tuesday? Yeah, I don't know. No idea, SK. No idea. Mitchell says he thinks the Celtics go up and over their team total. I think it's listed at 121.5. I actually like that number as well. Boston can win with defense. That's the thing that always scares me a little bit. Spencer says that Hawks +5 was good, but I mean, yesterday it was good. Derek White under 20.5 points. What you think, Eric? I need him to go over. He says, I think this play did go under 4 out of the last 5 games played. The number has been adjusted, though, Eric. That's what I'll say. And I'm not taking anybody unders against a Hawks team on the second leg of a back-to-back. The Hawks are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. What up, Justin? Ski says, me, Chris, and 3 others in here can play better defense than the Hawks. And my cardio good. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I got some stamina, and I know how to slide my feet, man. I was all defense on the district team, so I think I might have made regionals in defensively. So yeah, I still got it a little bit, Ski, and I agree. Atlanta they're not playing no defense. It was nice for them to get Dyson Daniels back in all seriousness, though. I think he's still only like 1 steal, and the Pelicans still I think went up and over their team total yesterday. I want to say. Easy likes Trae Young opened over his 10.5 assists. 5-star says Trae Young assists for cash. Whip says was looking at that under on Clint Capella. Nice look. Hopefully the cash, and that's what it is. Kenneth, shout out to Kenneth. The in-season tournament starts. That makes a lot of sense why these lines are already out. Makes a ton of sense why the lines are already out. Yep. LJ says it as well. Those are the group play game lines. Veterans Day, Chrissy says. I think I know that. Trae Young, 10 assists is good. Jose says. All right. So 2 plays for me. Like I said, Derek White over his 3.5 3-point makes, and I'll take Clint Capella under his 8.5 rebounds. Send those out to the members. Lean over. Actually, yeah, I guess I do lean over. Not sure how invested Boston's going to be in this game, but we'll see. I know I'm not playing the side or the spread. About where it should be in my opinion. Let's go Memphis and Brooklyn next. This line was at 5.5 last night. It's actually come down to 5. I actually see it. Yeah, it's still 5. Okay, so 5.5, 4.5 on ESPN Bet if you got access to that. So for the Memphis Grizzlies, John Conchar is listed as doubtful in this game. Desmond Bain, G.G. Jackson, Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart, all still listed as out. On the Brooklyn side, Ben Simmons is listed as out. He did play in that game yesterday against Detroit, so he will sit tonight. Bogdanovich, it looks like, is a game time decision. Well, it's telling me he's a game time decision, but he was ruled out. He hasn't played yet. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game. I watched the post-game interview last night with Coach Fernandez, and he didn't say anything about Bogdanovich returning. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this is a pretty bad spot for Memphis. I'm sorry, for Brooklyn. This is the 5th game in 7 nights for Brooklyn. One of 2 teams, I think, that play a 5th game in 7 nights today. Typically a spot you want to kind of stray away from. You don't want to play teams in their 5th game in 8 nights. And Memphis has actually looked a little bit better recently as well. They're coming off 1 day's rest. They got a big win against the Philadelphia 76ers and, of course, beat the Milwaukee Bucks. So 2-game winning streak. The defense has looked a lot better in those couple games. And Memphis, from a trend perspective, they're 7-0 to their first half team total over so far this season. Shout out to Moneyballer. One thing I looked at as far as trend-wise is I looked at road favorites who typically who just previously lost as a road favorite within 7 days in the same season, and they have more rest than their opponent in the next game. 56% trend says that Milwaukee wins this game and cover with the revenge angle. Remember, it was just last week that Memphis went to Brooklyn, Brooklyn went to Memphis, held this Memphis team to like 16 points in the fourth quarter, and we failed to cash on the Memphis team total over because they couldn't score in the fourth quarter. I think we started to see a little bit of regression from Brooklyn here. The other thing I looked at was teams that got smoked in this spot. So if the favorite in the first game failed to cover 25 points or more, that 55%, that 56% trend moves to 60%. Says that Memphis wins this game and covers the spread in this spot. And yeah, I like it. I think Memphis, like Ja Morant, finally, got it in gear. I still think they got enough with Jalen Wells. He played really, really well in that last game. You still got Santi Aldama. I don't think Huff has been getting a lot of noise. Shout out to UVA. Huff has looked really, really good off the bench. You still got Zach Edey, Jared Jackson Jr. I still think they got enough to beat this Brooklyn team on the second leg of a back-to-back third game in 4 nights. So my recommendation for this game would be Memphis minus the 5 for them to get a little bit of revenge. Maybe you even take the 4.5 if it's available to you. Just kind of watch the numbers, see where it goes. But yeah, that's what I'm liking in this one. I would only play Memphis. And player prop wise, I think Schroeder is the only reason I didn't play this is because of the spot, 5th game in 7 nights. But when you look at Dennis Schroeder without Ben Simmons on the floor, his usage rate is crazy as far as assists. He has a 41% assist percentage without Ben Simmons on the floor this season. It's only been 1 game that he's played. It actually came against Denver, and Schroeder had 14 assists in that game. This line was at 7.5 minus 121 last night. I'm pretty sure that number is gone. I didn't play it, but I'm pretty sure that number is probably a little bit more juice now, thinking that, the one thing about Memphis is they're going to play fast. So Brooklyn should, probably play a little bit faster in this spot as well. Minus 128 on FanDuel is the best number right now. Last night on Caesars, it was minus 121. It's minus 151 on Caesars right now. So 30 cent of juice over the last 4 hours when I was capping this. Dennis Schroeder over his assist at 7.5. Ben Simmons is the best play on the board for me as far as player props. Ja Morant continues to go absolutely nuclear. Wouldn't surprise me if he had another big game. I don't think that they have a defender that's going to be able to slow him down. And without Bane and without Marcus Smart, I think he's in line for another big game as well. But I didn't even look at Ja Morant numbers. I just know that he's been going absolutely nuclear. Let's see what you guys think about this one. Justin likes Ja. Thinks he gets a double-double today. He likes the 10 assists. CG3 says Zach Edey gets 10 boards today. Keith says Coach Fernandez talked about the Nets needing to rebound better, but I don't think that they have a roster to stop Edey and Jackson, and I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, Keith, and I did see him talking about that as well. Blunt says he likes the over here, Chris. He says Memphis has been pushing the pace a lot. Yeah, Memphis has been playing super fast, man. People that pay attention. I mentioned them being I mentioned Memphis being 7-0 to the first half team total over. They've been flying up and down the floor. I'm pretty sure this is the best first half offense in the NBA so far this season. Real quick, let's just put some numbers to that. Especially the game with Ja Morant. Ja Morant did miss 1 game so far this season, but if we're looking at first half numbers, let's see how many points they're averaging in the first half. The Grizzlies are averaging 64.9, so almost 65 points in the first half. They're smoking teams in the first half. The problem is, the Nets are also, I think, 5-0-1 or 6-0-1 against the spread in the first half. So, yeah, I do think it's a Memphis revenge spot, though. I like it. I like it a lot, Blunt. They've been pushing the pace for sure. And to put some pace numbers with that, shout out to Moneyballer again. Memphis is number 3 in pace right now. Brooklyn is 20th. So definitely think it's going to be played at a pretty fast pace as well. M. Scissor says, lady with ease. Memphis is growling. Brian says, quick revenge for Memphis. Brooklyn back-to-back. Dropping downs like the Grizzlies. A lot of people like the Grizzlies. Says Grizzly all day. Terrible spot for Brooklyn. Jalen likes that rebounds and assists. I talked about this one on a Saturday against Philly. That cash. What's up, Lightberry? Says top of the morning, family. Let's get it. Whip also like Morant, rebounds and assists. And MJ says college basketball starts today. Let's talk about that. So if you join the Discord, they already talked about it. I'm not talking about it. I'm not betting it. But yeah, that's what I like. And 5-star likes the Grizzlies as well here. I thought a little bit more money would come in on the Grizzlies, but I do like the Grizzlies. I thought the number would have been moved. But they are on my short list right now. Grizzlies minus the 5, maybe even get that 4.5 this idea. All right, let's move it on. Next one we got is Kings and the Heat. This is the last one I'm going to talk about as well. I didn't get to all of the other games. A couple of the other games I got to, but I'm already on here for an hour, so I'm not talking for 2 hours. All right, so let's go through this one. Sacramento and Miami. Injury report real quick. I saw Kevin Huerter pop up for Sacramento. He is listed as game time decision with an illness. And then on the Miami Heat side, I think this is going to be the first game all season they expect to have everybody play. Duncan Robinson's supposed to return. Kevin Love's supposed to make his, I think it's his season debut. And you got a Sacramento team that's last game of a 4-game road trip, third game in 4 nights, and they're coming off an overtime loss against Toronto, where I tried to take them live, and they couldn't get a stop in that game. Miami is coming off 1 day's rest. They did win that game in New Mexico City versus the Washington Wizards. They won that game by 20 points, so didn't really have to exert too much energy. Know that they're coming from altitude. That is something to kind of keep in mind. When I look at this from a head-to-head perspective, Miami has won 7 of the last 10 matchups. They've won 3 straight, and they've covered both spreads. They covered both spreads last season against this Sacramento Kings team. From a strength of schedule perspective, Miami has beaten some pretty poor teams, and that's one of the things that kind of held me up because I like Miami in this spot. They've beaten the Portland Trail Blazers, the Utah Jazz. I'm sorry. The Kings have actually beaten the Portland Trail Blazers, the Utah Jazz, and the Atlanta Hawks. Those are 3 teams that I think are going to miss the playoffs and be very low seeded. With their losses coming against Toronto, the Lakers, and Minnesota, 2 teams that I think will make the playoffs. Toronto, I don't think will make the playoffs. So it's still Miami minus the 2 in this spot or nothing for me here. I thought about playing money line. It's minus 130. It was minus 130 on Caesars last night. Pretty sure it hasn't really moved a lot at all. Let's see. You can actually get Miami minus 1.5, and the money line is actually coming down. So money coming in on Sacramento in this spot, minus 120 for the Miami Heat. I just don't think it's a really good spot for. I don't like the spot for Miami because of the travel from Mexico City. But Sacramento, I think, is in a worse spot. Like I said, 4th game, 3rd game in 4 nights, last game of a 4-game road trip, and coming off overtime game. So when I was looking into trends, I think I found one. So yeah, Road Dogs coming off an overtime game, playing their last of a 4-game road trip within the first 10 games of the season, 17 and 46 straight up. Says that they're only winning these games about 27% of the time. So I like that for the Miami Heat. I also looked at teams playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, coming off an overtime game as short dogs, 23 and 14 to the over. But I think this one goes under. I actually don't like the over as much in this spot. Neither one of these teams really playing with too much pace. The one thing I do like a little bit more than the spread, and Miami is still on the short list. I may potentially still get there with them. I like that they're fully healthy. One thing I like a little bit more than this, potentially a little bit more than the spread, is Bam. Bam has been pretty terrible to start the season. He had his coming out party against the Washington Wizards. I think Spoelstra might have mentioned something about trying to get him a little bit more involved. And they did just that. Bam had 32 points. He ate against the Wizards. Finally got a high usage rate game. He had 32 points against the Wizards. He shot the ball 24 times, 12 for 24 from the field in 31 minutes with a usage rate that was 34% in that game against the Washington Wizards. Now, don't get it twisted. This is not the Washington Wizards defense, but the Kings have been susceptible to giving it up to centers as well. Before the Sacramento game, before the Washington Wizards game, Bam's highest usage rate was actually 23% against the Charlotte Hornets. So we saw that, almost increase about 30%. So I think it's a continued buy low spot for Miami here. They've also been, I think his usage continues to increase, and Sacramento has been decent against centers, but they haven't really faced a lot of really good centers. So we have points prop at 16.5. I like that. I think he gets there. I think Bam hits a 3 in this game. His threes were just over a half a 3. So for him to make 1 3 was plus 112 last night on Caesars. I like that a lot as well. He has struggled with his shot, but he shot at least 2 of them in each game so far. And he finally got hot for the 3-point line last game. He actually hit 3 of his 5 attempts last season. I was asking jaXon about this last night, and jaXon was telling me that Sacramento is allowing opposing centers to shoot 46% from the three-point line so far this season. They got lit up by a couple centers that they faced so far. Naz Reid being one. I can't remember all the rest of them because I didn't write the number down, but I think it's a pretty good play at plus money here. For Sabonis doesn't want to go out there. He wants to stay around the rim and get a whole bunch of rebounds. So I do like Bam to hit a three. I think Bam points are in play as well, 16.5. Just kind of giving you guys some looks. Miami money line, I think, is something that I'm also interested in also. So those are my thoughts on this one. Did not bet the game yet, though. What's up, Dirt? Julian says, good morning, early birds. Kings money line for Ronaldo. So opposite side, what I'm thinking. One says Heat when laying points like this is usually their spot. I like their defense. Can flex their muscle here. I'll take the -2. And I'm with you. That was something that I looked at as well. But I didn't write it down because I spent a lot of time on the games. But I'd actually went back a couple seasons. I think it was like since the 2021 season. Looking at the Heat as short home favorites. So when I say short home favorites, I mean like for them just to have to win the game by 3 points or less, which is indicative of what the line is today. And they're profitable. They're 20-13 in this spot straight up, 60.6% in these games where they are at home laying 3 points or less. So I do like that trend a lot. I don't like playing big numbers with the Heat, but if I can get the Heat on a short number, I think we want to get there. So I'm with you on this one, Blunt. I like it a lot. Whip says he likes the under. It'd be under for me as well. This total was 226.5 last night. Money has come in on the under. It was 224.5 last night. So money's actually coming in over. I disagree with that. I like the over, like the under as well. Mike Drop likes a bonus over his rebounds. He says Jaime Jaquez over his 4.5 rebounds, 100% hit rate this season. First on the team in rebound percentage as well. Okay, nice call out right here by Keith. What's up, Kim? He says RJ rebounds and assist combo, 11.5. Got to take it. I know we're not talking about that game, but okay, I like it. What up, Burns? He says, is third game in 4 nights on the road significant, or would you say fifth game in 7 nights? Trying to figure an exhaustion angle. So what I had looked up and what I had shared, Burns, I don't know if you heard me say it, but I said teams playing their third game in 4 nights, also coming off of overtime games as short home dogs, are typically not profitable. If it's the first 10 games of the season, it's a fatigue spot, 17-46 straight up, which is 27% of the time they win those games. I think it's a better spot for Miami here, in my opinion. Julian reminded people to smash the like button. I appreciate that. If you can take a second and do that, helps the algorithm. He says, has Bam threes been cashing? Lindy mentioned that Bam was going to be shooting more threes because he wants to be able to space the floor out a little bit more. He's not been cashing. He's actually gone under every game, but he's 0 for 2 in every game. So you just need him to hit 1. He's coming off a game where his usage went up and he hit 3. So I like it for that reason. Steve's Price, is there any large dogs you think went out right? We'll get to that in a second. I think this was the last game I wanted to talk about, though. Let's see. I got to do my homework. I know I'm just get on here and just talk. Unless I'm talking it out with you guys, but I got to do my homework. I've already been live for an hour. So let's see real quick. What else we got? What game didn't we cover? We didn't cover Jazz versus Bulls. Jazz versus Bulls, I didn't want to go through this one because Levine's listed as questionable, Market is listed as questionable. You got Chicago coming off 2 days rest, Utah coming off a day's rest. The first thing that stood out to me was the Jazz team total, though. It's 110.5, and that seemed a little bit too high. I know Chicago's defense has been pretty poor, but the Jazz have actually gone under their team total in every game so far this season except one. We cashed the under 110.5 against the San Antonio Spurs the other day. They scored 88 points. That was the easiest bet that we've won so far this season. So I thought that total was a tad bit too high. But like I said, Lauri Markkanen could be back, and that could help the offense out a lot. This is the worst offense in the NBA, though. The Jazz are by far the worst offense in the NBA. They're averaging 99.8 points per game so far. And like I said, they stay under their team total in 5 or 6. The Bulls' defense is nothing to write home about, if I'm being honest with you guys. And they're number 1 in pace. And Utah's number 6 in pace. So that kind of kept me off. But those are my initial thoughts on that game. New York and Houston was a pretty interesting one, man. I kind of think New York is in a pretty good spot here. And it's really because the matter of fact, let's just go to the recap page real quick. All right, so now let's go back to New York and Houston. So when you look at teams that had to come from behind and exert so much energy to get themselves back in the game, it's typically not a good spot in the next game. The Houston Rockets were down by 30 against the Golden State Warriors on Saturday night. They came all the way back and forced overtime. So that was something that I know doesn't happen that often. I wanted to look into that angle specifically. And what I found was I just, for a bigger sample size, I used teams that, were down 20 in a game and then they still forced overtime. And then the total is greater than the previous total. So it is saying that, they probably play a little bit less defense in this spot because of that. It's actually an over game, 36, 20, and 3 to the over, 64.3% of the time it goes over. Makes a lot of sense with the Knicks being the second best offensively efficient team in the league. They're third in effective field goal percentage are the Knicks. They're actually the best three-point shooting team in the NBA right now. They've passed the Boston Celtics. They're second best in half-court offense. Then I thought about, so all of that kind of led me to the over in the game. And then I thought maybe Knicks team total over. This is a team that's gotten to 111 points, which is what you would need them to get to in this game. 3 of their 5 games so far. It kind of makes sense with Houston exerting so much energy 2 nights ago to come back in that game. The Knicks have also cleared their team total in 4 of their last 5 games so far as well. Then I thought to myself, maybe Rockets team total, because their total is 108.5. Knicks are 30th in pace. They've just been super efficient. The Rockets are 27th in pace. The Rockets have stayed under their team total in 4 to 6 games that they've played so far. And like I said, they also exerted a lot of energy. So we're expecting it to be a slow-paced game, kind of grind it out, and maybe Rockets team total under. So I was just kind of going back and forth, just sharing notes with you guys on what I thought about that one. I think what that means, though, if I like the over, and then I like the Knicks team total over and the Rockets team total under, I think I just like the Knicks minus the 2.5, minus the 3, or whatever the number is right now. So that line is actually moving against me. I don't like that one as much. But when I was looking into this last night, everything to me kind of pointed to the Knicks being able to kind of keep things going. I know that they got a look-ahead game against I'm not sure how much of a look-ahead game that is, but I know they got a big game against the I think it was the Hawks on deck Wednesday. This is a non-conference game, so maybe they don't care as much. But I think the Knicks are the right side tonight. Rockets, I just can't trust them offensively right now. They've really been struggling. And the Knicks are, I think, going to be one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. So I think Knicks are the right side, maybe even Knicks money line. But I didn't quite get there yet. Eric Martin, everybody hit the like button. Appreciate that. Cash with his Lions yesterday. Appreciate you, Mark. Brian says during rebounds last night was easy money. Thanks for yesterday looking up his stats again against the net. Oh yeah, he did definitely cash. Appreciate you for tapping in, Burns. Whip says, Chris, that Jonathan Taylor under in Sunday night football game was a good call. Got burned on Flacco over his passing yards. Yeah, I thought for a second with about 6 minutes left, they were just going to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor every single time, but we did cash that under yesterday. I'm glad you cashed it, bro. I needed that for sure. Easy Money Poppy says, hey, Chris, caught the live show. What it do? Appreciate your work, big dog. Appreciate you for tapping in. Easy Money. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see. He says, last time Brunson was in Houston. Oh, I forgot about that. I remember this. He says, refs cost the Knicks the game. Brunson should ball out tonight knowing he was off, knowing he has a day off tomorrow. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. What's up, Kansas? Good morning. OKC going to smash Orlando around like the Mavericks did. And I can't disagree with that. Mark says, Magic look bad. Yeah, Paolo is hurt right now. Matter of fact, let's go. I think that was one of the games that we didn't get to. Charlotte and Minnesota, I didn't really look too much into, but I do know that Rudy Gobert's listed as questionable. Brandon Miller listed as questionable. Nick Richards already listed as out. I'm not laying 8.5 with Minnesota, but Charlotte's looked really, really bad against the Boston Celtics last 2 games. So I didn't really look too much in that one. Orlando and OKC, I didn't get to this one, but I did play OKC. I sent out the number last night, and what number did we get? We got 11.5. I played Orlando OKC minus 11.5 at minus 115 on BetMGM. Right now, that number is 12.5. It's still 11.5 on BetMGM though. So shop around for the best number. I think this was a pretty easy one. Easy plays don't cash all the time, but this is a very hobbled Orlando team. Wendell Carter Jr. left last night game. I think at halftime he didn't return with a foot injury. I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game. Makes sense for them not to play him in this game. Of course, no Paulo Banchero. You got a second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, and fourth game in 6 nights for Orlando. OKC, third game in 4 nights, and fourth game in 6 nights for them as well, but at least they have a day's rest. I looked at the Magic last season. They were 2-8 straight up and lost by an average of 11 points per game last season when they were unrested and they were on the road. Now you add in no Paulo Banchero, potentially, well, most likely no Wendell Carter Jr., and I think it probably gets a lot worse. This is a team that, only scored, 80 points last night against the Dallas Mavericks. I also consider Orlando team total. It was 101.5 last night. I know that's a super low number, but that still made a lot of sense to me. I didn't play the team total. I kind of leaned a little bit more. You still can get the 100.5 on BetMGM, on Bet365, and it hasn't really moved. It's down to 100 on a couple books though. So second leg of a back-to-back would travel for against Dallas. Scored 85 points last night against Dallas. With no Paulo Banchero, they're scoring 99.5 points per 100 possessions, and that's against defenses that's not as good as OKC. 117.7 points scored per 100 possessions. Paulo on the floor. Orlando does not play fast. Their offense is struggling. They don't get a ton of offensive rebounds, and OKC protects the ball better than any other team right now, which is actually what Orlando had been doing well is forcing turnovers. But this Thunder team turns the ball over less than any other team. They're also the Thunder, best offense, best defense in the half court. They're giving up something like 66 points per 100 possessions in the half court. Orlando 3-1 to the under on their team total as a road dog this season, and they've actually been held. The Thunder have actually held 5 of their 6 opponents under their team total. And both times that they've been home favorites in Oklahoma City so far this season. So team total under 101.5. I just actually laid the 11.5. I do think this one probably gets out of hand in OKC tonight. Portland and New Orleans didn't quite get there with anything. Indiana, Dallas didn't quite get anything anywhere there. Neesmith and Nembhard. Neesmith is out. Nembhard is questionable. I think Dallas coming off that big win last night. I kind of feel like they can get the job done still. I got to do a little bit more work in that game though. Toronto and Denver. Last one I'll go through real quick. Toronto got quickly listed as doubtful. But Denver, no Jamal Murray. Toronto coming off an overtime game in Sacramento where they did win outright as a 9.5-point home dog. They're 6-1 to the over so far this season, with those games going over by an average of 19 points, which is why you see the total in this game. I think it opened 226.5. It's all the way up to 230, I think it was on most books. And that makes a ton of sense. I just kind of worry that Toronto could potentially run out of gas in this spot. Toronto's opponents are 4-2 to the over on their team total, and they're giving up an average. Toronto is giving up an average of 125 points per game. Toronto is the best offensive rebounding team in the league, and they've averaged the most points per putback, and they scored the most points off misses so far. But Denver is actually just outside of the top 10 and giving up offensive rebounds, so they probably won't. I don't think that'll be there for Toronto in this game. So I did think it was an over spot, but the thing that scared me a little bit was road dogs playing third game in 4 nights, and they had to travel coming off an overtime game. Actually, big under spots, 92-71 to the under. That's about 56%. Then I thought about Denver team total over, but I didn't quite get there with anything. So I just kind of left that one blank. We'll see what happens. But Toronto's easy overs or nothing right now. I just don't like that they're coming off the overtime game and, going to continue to be without quickly. I think we also see some regression from Grady Dick, who shot the ball really well. RJ Barrett probably doesn't play as well. I didn't play the game. Just kind of stayed off of that one. But those are my thoughts. 3 plays that I did play. Like I said, I got 5 plays that I locked in and sent out to the members, but 3 of them are right here. The other 2 are OKC minus 11.5 and Jordan Poole under 30.5 points plus assists. Got a long short list as well. I'm firing today, man. I'm letting them go. We'll see how it goes, though. But I'm firing. If you're still watching, do me a favor. Hit the like button for me on your way out. Definitely check out these resources if you guys are interested in handicapping the games more efficiently, more effectively, and more profitably. jaXon, referral code 50% off. They also got the free trial right now, so it's the perfect time to check out jaXon if you guys have not so far. ChrisBeCappinn these 2 ends will get you 50% off that discount. And you'll get the free trial. Moneyballer, probably the second greatest resource on the internet in handicapping games, just because everything is laid out so easily for you. The trends, the situational spots, the stats, the defensive rating, the pace. Like, definitely check out Moneyballer. They're still offering 50% off as well using the same code ChrisBeCappinn. The link for both of those in the description of the video. And OddsJam. You guys know what OddsJam is all about. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hopefully you guys make some money today. I'm definitely trying to get back into green myself. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Hit the like button for me on the way out, man. Helps the algorithm. Link for all my plays when I officially make them is in the description of the video. Hit me with a DM if you're interested in joining the Discord at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's on Twitter or X, or shoot me an email at ChrisBeCappinn 2 P's 2 N's at gmail.com, man. Best of luck to you guys today. Ton of bets that are really good bets in my opinion. Hopefully we've played a couple of them. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Monday, man. I'm out.